The man that has everything. Signature guitars, signature amps, successful career, signature watches even, and yes, I'm a bit of a sucker as well, now has signature strings. John Mayer now has signature ernieball strings. When I first saw this Instagram post, I kind of thought, maybe that's a little silly, but I am a fan, so I was interested. I was interested, and I reached out to my friends at Strings and Things here in the UK, and managed to get myself a nice tin of these silver slinky John Mayer signature ernieball strings. We're going to put them on my Silver Sky. Of course we are. Some of you are going to cringe at that, but we're going to do it. Now, I am interested in these because I am one of those guitar players who have struggled between 10s and 11s, or at least never been able to find a happy medium between the two. I've always leaned towards 11s historically, played 11s almost since the start, really, on every guitar, no matter if they're Gibson scale length, Fender scale length. But more recently, maybe I've felt like I could do with going down a bit, just because, I don't know, I'm just feeling that way. Whenever I pick up a guitar with lighter strings on, I'm like, this is so easy to play, it feels great. But whenever I do make the switch to 10s, I kind of miss the feel of 11s, and I've never been able to find the perfect 10.5 set. I've tried a few from ernieball as well, but some of them lean too far towards 11s or too far toward 10s. Enough yammering on. Let's get these on. I'm also going to do a bit of TLC on the Silver Sky while I'm at it, and then we'll come back for some impressions on the strings. By the way, the tin itself is really cool. I'm going to keep the tin just for putting picks in or something. Kind of worth it just for the tin. So a standard set of 10s from ernieball go like this. So a 10, 13, a 17, a 26, a 36 and a 46. And they're the regular slinkies. Power slinky, so a normal set of 11s, that goes 11, 14, 18, 28, 38, 48. Interestingly enough, that ernieball already do a couple of 10.5 gauges. The main one, the Mega Slinkies, do 10.5, 13.5, 17.5, 28, 38, 48. And if you ask me, that might actually lean a little bit towards the 11 gauge. So maybe for 10s players, maybe that still feels a little heavy. But I do think that's sort of where the idea for the Silver Slinkies came along. John Mayer looking for a true halfway house between 10s and 11s, rather than, you know, a 10.5 set with a heavier bottom, or vice versa. And if we look at the gauges for the 10.5s, that really is a halfway house between 10s and 11s. So we have 10.5, 13.5, 17.5. So far that's the same as the regular 10.5 set. But then we do go 0.01 lighter than the Mega Slinky. So then we go 27, 37, 47. And on paper, yeah, that's halfway between the two. I'm going to put some Monty's instrument food on the fretboard, just to give it a clean up. I don't really have a workbench to work on guitars, unfortunately, so apologies for all the rattling around, or if you're cringing at this guitar rocking on the table. Okay, fretboard's looking lovely, I would say. Let's give the rest of the guitar a bit of a polish. ernieball, this video isn't sponsored by ernieball, but I have had the strings for free from Strings and Things in the UK. I didn't realise how disgusting this guitar had got. Oh, I've made an absolute mess of everything. Right, let's get strings on. Okay, we're up to tension. What I'll do is I'll just give them a good stretch, and then we'll plug in and we'll come back and I'll give you some impressions on if I think these strings are worth it for you, if you're one of those guitar players like me who's never been able to settle on 10s or 11s. Come back in a sec. Okay, I've got some thoughts. I've got some thoughts already. If there's one thing that John Mayer always talks about when he's promoting a new piece of gear, it's whether it's an amp, a guitar. I don't know if he's talked about it with these strings, but he always talks about the responsiveness and the snappiness and the bounciness. You know, when you want... He always wants it to be ready to play the next thing when you finish the thing before. That's a weird way of putting it, but he wants that responsiveness, that snappiness. And I'd say that's true with these strings as well. And I'm going to play my Strat in a sec because that's got straight 11s on. Because I feel like this set of strings feels like a really well-balanced set of 11s, but it's easier to bend on. Like, that would be hard to do on a straight pair of 11s, set of 11s, but not so much on this. Let's just plug in my other Strat and we'll see how it goes with them. These are also really fresh strings, so only a couple of days old. Yeah, already much more tension, but the actual feel of them is quite similar. That's much more effort than it is on the Silver Slinkies. What's the output of this? What did we learn? We learned that John Mayer kind of knows what he's talking about. Ernieball kind of knows what they're talking about. Whether I'm going to switch to them full-time or not is yet to be seen. They're a little more expensive than standard strings, which of course comes into play. I'd be interested to see what these feel like on a Gibson scale length. I'll give them a go and maybe let you guys know. So was it a bit of a weird collaboration? Maybe initially, but there's actually some brains and thoughts gone into this. I think they're good. Listen, they're great. They're strings at the end of the day though, so